I do have one huge, massive, major, insane complaint, though. Every single time I went to US Air and I would watch my friends and my buddies and people I don't even know drift, I would get a V8 juice, because where the fuck else can you get a V8 juice? Like, when do you go to an event and they have a V8 juice for sale? And I love V8. So Maya and I made a tradition of grabbing a V8 and watching drifting. Well, last time we were there with new management, there's no V8 juice. And I know for a fact it's not because like sales were declining on V8 juice or anything like that, because I bought shit every single time. So what happened to the V8 juice? Yeah.
A scooter versus an RX-8. What would win at a drag strip? Quick, Gels, go.
Depends if you're measuring the first 60 feet or not.
So if you guys don't know, we actually were just at Appleton Takeover here in Wisconsin, which
It
is
was hot.
Our show.
yeah, which is one of our shows, my show. It was the 9th annual event, which was so crazy to say. Because WCC's been around almost 10 years now.
Jesus.
And we hosted at Wisconsin International Raceway.
Yeah.
And we did a car show and drag day.
Yeah, it wasn't an actual takeover, despite what the name actually said.
Yeah, so we do have to change the name because takeover back in the past was not what takeover means now. And now that's
Now
how
it's
I
bad.
know that I have grown
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
I'm like, there's nothing wrong with that term. And then I have like 6 or 7 people DM me and they're like, so like takeover, like, what do you mean takeover?
Yeah, like,
what are you doing?
you
Don't
said
you
you-
just-
are like,
You
they
said
like-
you hate those.
Yeah, they're like, you hate takeovers though. I'm like, nope, no.
Yeah, well.
Son of a bitch. But hey, thank you so much for tuning in to the MartiniWorks podcast as well. We're going to be talking about the Appleton Takeover in the first segment. If you haven't yet, please be sure to subscribe. If you're listening in on Spotify or Apple Music, all those sort of things, means a lot for you guys to rate it a 5-star.
Yeah.
Right? That would mean the world. And if you are looking for parts for your car, if there's one thing I could ask you to do, go check out MartiniWorks.com. We're really trying to get that thing off the ground. We just got Fortune Auto products added. So if you need some coilovers, some 500 or 510 series, we got them. And if you need help with figuring out what fits, shoot us an email. I think Gels will probably help you out.
Yeah, or if the website's kind of like, I don't know what you're talking about, just shoot us an email.
Yeah, because we do know what we're talking about. But sometimes the internet ain't, the website ain't too caught up.
They're working on the website. All right, it'll get there.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you guys know how I feel about Subarus, right?
Okay, where did this come from?
Oh,
okay, go ahead.
You know
with
how
the-
I feel?
yeah.
Subaru slander inbound.
I'm not. No. Well, maybe.
Oh my
some,
God.
But
No.
my wife is looking to sell her car, and she really wants a Subaru WRX STI, and I'm just not sure where I went wrong or what I said or what
Dakota.
I didn't say.
Dakota, how
And
could you?
She listens to the podcast, so I know she's listening right now, and I'd like to hear your guys' genuine thoughts on my wife getting a STI.
Okay, so what year is she looking at? First off,
the newer.
hypocrite.
Yeah, no, not me. She never said anything.
You're married,
Yeah.
marital property state. It's both of you.
Technically, yeah, ownership wise.
Yep.
Yeah.
So you now own.
No, we didn't buy one.
I thought that's what you were about to
Yeah,
say.
you
No.
almost.
I'm
own-
trying to divert here.
Okay.
You almost own a Subaru
Let him
WRX
finish. Let him
STI.
finish. Let him cook.
Let me cook. So, anyways, we're selling the Civic Si.
Yeah.
She was really dead set on a Golf R, which 100% supportive
What
of.
happened to that?
I'm super into that. I like that idea way more.
Good.
But like, this isn't a new thing. It wasn't like, oh, this year I really want to dude, this has been like since she sold her SRT4 Neon fucking like 10 years ago. Cat.
Doesn't that cat like to eat those things?
Yeah, cat likes to eat those Mario cat duty.
There's a
Pancakes-
cat eating a hair tie.
pancakes
Over there. In
that way.
his room.
That way, I do not want to pay
Sorry.
$4,000 again to save that cat.
Give me that
Sorry,
hair tie.
I saw it and I just.
That was a great warning.
Just say
like,
he saved the
hold
cat. Joe saved a cat today.
All right.
Yeah,
Anyway.
you got it. Good deal.
Mario.
Yeah. So it's the what generation? Like not the newest generation because they didn't make an STI.
Like the
yet.
2015 to
Yes,
2020.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
that
Okay.
one.
So that's what you're thinking about getting.
I'm not thinking.
That's what
about
you're
getting
thinking about owning.
it. No.
Interesting. Dakota's buying a Subaru WRX STI after all the slander.
That's crazy.
I'm
What
not.
year? What
We
I
covered
guess
it.
what sort of price or mileage does that
Yeah.
get?
Is there a
I guess. I
reason?
don't
Because
understand.
like,
They kind of came down a little bit. Honestly, it looked like I don't know. They're around upper 20s.
okay.
is she doing anything to it?
I don't. I know she'll want like bolt-ons and probably coilovers wheels.
So is there something
Nothing like crazy, but just
because you know
daily driver.
the Golf R?
Yep.
You know, I remember that was like the big talk.
Yep.
What happened?
I don't know. I don't fucking know,
what
dude.
Maya, why are you doing this to our boy?
I don't know. From what I've gathered, she just likes how they look, likes how they sound.
Of course, that's what everybody gets hooked on.
I know,
that they
but-
sound good and they do look
They have
good.
like one minor problem, which is the engine.
I have a solution to it.
STIs are better than the WRX.
You're right.
You K swap it.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Okay, so let's get back to it.
All right.
My honest thoughts on it. First off, I think mileage and maintenance is going to be everything. So if you find a low mileage one, I would say
Yeah, the goal would be
probably
stock, too.
Yes,
probably, yeah. If you can
definitely
find a stock low mileage one, I'd say go nuts. I think the only part that scares me about that entire conversation was the part where you said, yeah, she just kind of wants to also do, full bolt-ons, tune, exhaust.
That's
And
where
that is
everything goes
where
wrong.
Everybody starts to lose, Dakota. Everyone starts to lose, and I just don't know if I would do it.
Yeah, I agree. I'm right there
And you're a
with you.
Volkswagen guy.
That's why I'm all Golf R. I'm
Where-
Team Golf R.
Why did the household get divided? It's like if
Dude,
you were
like I
The
said,
Golf
it's been-
R's, did
it's
the
been
Golf
years.
R's like stay at like a certain price point? Is maybe that
No, price isn't, because it's a similar price range for the vehicles.
okay.
They're both 4-cylinder turbo all-wheel drive vehicles.
I thought maybe
So
like
it's
the
more
Golf
just
R's,
aesthetics.
Okay, I was okay. Yeah, I thought maybe like
she
the Golf
wants
R's
the
like stayed.
Subaru.
Yeah, like
They
the
stayed at like a
STI.
certain price, and that's
If you guys are watching this on YouTube, this is the first part of the podcast where we're going to ask you to drop a comment below.
Yes.
Should Maya buy the STI or should she buy the Golf R? Is Dakota and Maya splitting up and she wants to show it through the fact that she wants to buy a Subaru and not a Volkswagen? Let me know your thoughts
That was
below.
kind of low at the end there, but we'll do Team STI or Team Golf R in the comments.
Okay.
So that way she can scroll through and read.
Team SRT4.
Yeah, honestly,
Yeah,
she
she
wouldn't
had one,
even
right?
really mind it. Yeah, hers was really clean. I like that one. And I think it was when I got an Evo 10, that's when she started checking out Subarus.
Oh,
Because I had a Cobalt SS. She had an SRT4. I
so
got
she
Evo.
had to always have the rival.
Yeah, it
So
kind of
what-
makes sense.
So wouldn't it make sense? What's the rival of the Super right now?
The Supra,
The Nissan Z.
the Nissan Z.
Well, here's the other thing that we factor in is like,
I know
this is
someone
like
who buys Z.
the classic meme.
I'll sell it to her, 70,000.
What a steal. I have a project car or fun car that can't be driven. She has reliable daily.
Oh, that's
Like the Civic Si is like the car that we take like if we needed to go across the state or something like that. And it's like
that would flip the script.
then now we just have all
Now you have to
project
take
cars.
the Supra everywhere.
Yeah. And let me tell you.
The Supra becomes a reliable car.
Yeah, that's true. That's
And
true.
that's-
That's what my wife always kind of pokes fun at is all of my cars are before the Z, all unreliable. So anytime we needed to go anywhere,
Scooter is still your most reliable vehicle.
Scoot had a lot of fun at the drag strip. Let me tell you what, when I had to walk up to a man at WIR and ask him when I'm fully decked out in motorcycle gear, what it would take to get my scooter down the drag strip. And he looked at me like I just kicked his dog. Looked at the scooter and goes, oh, and
Yeah,
walked
they didn't really
so-
give a shit.
But he did it. Alex
I
did
did
it.
it. Ran it twice. The
Oh, I didn't
second
see
time-
the second.
Yeah,
Oh, wait,
it
no, I
was
did.
really
The
bad.
second time
Because
is
you
when he put
stalled.
it into park. Yeah, he
stalled the
the
electric
scooter on the
scooter.
line.
I didn't. Yeah, I was messing.
I didn't
with
know
the
you
buttons.
could stall an electric vehicle.
Anything's possible, baby. If you guys want to watch that drag strip video, we race all of the cars. It's really fun. It's
We
gonna be
drove
going
them
up.
down a quarter mile.
Yeah,
That's what we did.
yeah, we drove them all right, but we're gonna make it look like we went really fast.
Mm-hmm.
But hey, that wasn't a bad quarter mile time. If you guys are listening in, I think the video goes up Thursday. By the time you're watching this, which would be next week, it would be up, so you can go check it out.
Sure.
Alex Martini channel, I think. No, I raced the scooter against Gels' RX-8,
Mm-hmm.
and I, off the line,
I think you got me.
I think I did.
I think you did.
I looked so dumb though,
know. I
going
have a
down the
confession.
track.
I have a
I was
confession.
impressed with the RX-8 going down the street.
I have a confession.
What?
I left the AC on that run
I knew
against
that
you,
one.
and it fucked me bad.
I could have taken honestly. I could have taken you starting the car with the car turned
Dude,
off, aired out.
no,
and
seriously.
I still think you would have beat
No,
me.
no. I don't know what it is about that car, and I know it's gonna sound like an excuse, but like for real, like if I have the AC on, like even like just leaving from like a stoplight is a fucking challenge.
How much
It
horsepower
bogs
does your
down
air
so-
conditioning unit take?
Apparently, a lot of it, because it like, dude, it is a struggle to get that thing going when that AC is on.
Yeah, Because it's, I mean, it's all from the belt.
That was unfortunate.
Belt
I
driven.
don't know. There's like the car is like 5 foot-pounds of torque. So I mean, you turn one more compressor, and it's like
you're also gonna notice in this conversation about our drag strip adventures that Dakota's been real quiet because
I got
Dakota,
some shit to say, and you better let me say it.
I will. You can say what you want to say, but I'm gonna say what I have to say first. There's been a rivalry of the clapped S2000 because in a chapter that's now been closed, the clapped car came back from the dead and won a competition against Clean Car, and Dakota was on Team Clean Car and I was Team Clapped Car, and it won. It was awesome. We all celebrated. I'm pretty sure I got a medal. And then Clapped Car went away for a couple years, came back. You're gonna see for the first time in the video over the last 3 months, and I raced Dakota in his Toyota Supra against clapped puffy marshmallow S2000 and I won, and that felt good. Dakota, would you like to rebuttal?
Yes. Disclaimer. Oh man, I've been waiting. Now a lot of this probably just gonna sound like excuses, but I need to say my piece.
clear the air.
Alex was drag racing all fucking day. Alex has already drag raced the S2000. Alex was lowering the PSI in all of his tires. Like, he was taking this shit super serious. My first run of the day was up against the S2000. And that was the first time I ever drag raced the Supra. I've never even launched the car myself before. So I didn't know what RPMs to go at.
That's fair.
You know, my buddy Dale was giving me some tips. And I appreciate Dale because my second run was beautiful. We'll get into that. But the first run, I had no idea what to do. So one tip he said was launch it in second. I was like, okay, that makes sense. And he said, you know, put the RPMs up 25, 2800. I'm like, okay. Well, I did that. I spun that bitch through fourth. I was just spinning. Car starting to go sideways a little bit on the strip. I had to let off the gas completely until I felt them again and then get back into the throttle. But by that time, you had traction. You were gone.
Yep.
But I was so frustrated at that race. I didn't stop. I didn't talk to anybody. I got back in line. I said, I'm running again. I'm going down the strip again. I know what I did wrong. And I launched it. And I ran a faster time than any of Alex's cars did that entire time.
To be fair, that's good. You know, I also had new wheels, new tires. The car I haven't driven in 3 months. So I appreciate, you know, some of the ignorance that you did, you know, release to the group here. But at the end of the day, at the end of the day, you know, a win's a win. I'd be happy I'd be happy to take you up again.
Oh, I'm down.
On another race, because what's the fastest that you went with the Supra? What was your fastest quarter mile? Because you ran it a couple times, right?
Yeah, I ran twice against you and then one after and then done.
What was the second one?
12.6.
12.6?
And I know I can shave that down quite a bit.
Yeah, so the fastest time I ever got on the S2K on high boost, because when I ran, I was running at low boost. I was actually trying to turn it up, and I couldn't fucking find the manual boost controller because I haven't seen the car in 3 months. I ran a 12.03.
Okay.
So I bet you that after a little bit of practice, that would be a super close drag strip race.
It would, because when I was talking to my buddy Dale, he said with those mods, because he had a Supra, with a decent set of drag tires, stuff like that, I can get it into the 11s.
Yeah, absolutely. I bet you can too. Absolutely.
So that would be a great race.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it didn't happen because I won. So he's going to have to come back. It's like a villain story. It's the second time now. It's like the Mario Kart story of you losing Mario Kart on Rainbow Road.
Hey, leave the dude alone, all right? He's just getting beat up this episode. I'm coming in to call a fucking foul. This is insane.
It was an excuse. I should have ran the car a few times before we raced.
To be fair, he really didn't give us a chance. So
yeah, I know. We had to do a lot of stuff that day. It was
I'll tell you what, though.
1,000,000 degrees out.
If you think probably would have been like at 430 wheel compared to what you're at 530 wheel?
Hell no, I'm like at 410.
No way.
Yeah,
you're tuned and stuff though, aren't you?
Yeah, but it's an intake exhaust and 93 tune.
Oh, you weren't running on E85 or anything.
Then I'd smoke your ass.
Yeah, well, you know, another day, another dream. Anyway, outside of that, what else happened at ATO?
Well, it was the hottest goddamn day.
It was a toasty day.
Hot.
After talking to some people, apparently WIR, that track is very slick.
Yeah, so
track.
WIR doesn't do, I don't know if it's on purpose or not, but the way they prep the actual drag strip, it's not very sticky. So even like, unless they're doing like a full NHRA event, which they had the night before, I think that literally just torched all the traction that was on that track, and they never prepped it for the day of because it was a little sticky at launch. But once you got past the actual like
slick, yeah.
it was
I was
slick.
sliding. I was sliding with the RX.
In your video, you can see strips you laid down.
I did not expect that at all. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, I would say the coolest thing though for me to humble myself for real quick, I got to take the 430 down twice, and both times it didn't have a misfire issue, which is a big deal because there will be a time when the Banging Gears video comes out and you're gonna see what that car did there, and you're gonna be like, "That's a piece of shit." I was half expecting what happened there to happen here, and it didn't, and it was marvelous. I got to drag race Becca. And then I got to drag race.
She almost had your ass.
She almost had me.
What else did you race that 430? And what was the other race?
Gloria.
Oh, Gloria didn't have a chance.
And then the S2000 against the 430. So there's a lot of good ones.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
The one thing, though, you had to manually lift your car back up.
Yeah, what the fuck was going on with that?
Okay, so I have the Acura system. I'm switching over to airlift. That'll be in a video. Yeah.
I'm surprised you don't just do coilovers.
You had a great... Your feedback is the issue, though, because I reached out to a couple airlift guys, and they talked about how the bellow, right?
Double bellow. Yeah,
It, like,
dude, it's
gets
so weird.
Stuck, and
Yeah, when
it
it-
just
when it-
won't
Oh,
air
your
up.
RK was doing that
Yeah,
too.
because I remember the first when Jared and his G35. I remember because it always would go punk.
We should
like, when it
explain what's going on.
So I'm sorry. Let me take a step back. When you're an idiot and you put air suspension on a car that you're trying to use for like motorsport actively every once in a while, you just and
Actively once in a while.
you didn't set it up maybe perfectly, it runs into some issues. So the 430 has universal air bags, which are awesome bags. They're good. And then AccuAir system. But the rear driver's side, for some reason, takes a minute to air up, and it just always has. Passenger side, a little slow, but can still get up there. And when I was trying to air it up for the drag strip, it just would
We were
not.
That
literally
bitch was
like,
locked.
we were literally trying to like deadlift the rear quarter of the
Which I did.
F430.
Alex successfully did.
he did.
deadlift
Deadlift
the
it.
car.
I was
That's
surprised.
what saved it. That's what was able
Yeah.
to bring it down the strip. Was you
Because-
pulling on the?
Because then he's like, well, maybe your bellows like stuck, right? And just, hey, turn a little bit and see if it kind of pops. So took the car out. It was sitting at, my right side was sitting at 98 pounds of pressure. My left side was sitting at 87 pounds.
What does it typically sit at?
I like to let them sit at like 90.
Oh, that's high. Okay.
Yeah, because it's I have it to air all the way down, and I took a hard left-hander and literally watched the thing just go 85, 90, 92, 96, 99. I was like, oh, sick.
So it got stuck.
Yeah, so it got stuck.
Usually you'll see the pressure go down though, because it's such smaller and you're trying to force that amount of air in there. It's like that with the RX-8 too. My fronts do this all the time. Yeah, it's a double bellow bag, so it's like when you look at it, it's like almost like two like hockey pucks on top of each other. When it airs out, it'll like fold in on itself, and every now and then, especially if it sits for a while, it'll just get stuck. And so I'll like cram all the air that I have in there, and usually it takes until I back out of the garage and it like gets to a little bit of an uneven surface
that the tire
and then
drops
you
a
can
little.
literally hear it go punk, and like you'll see that pressure drop for like 90 pounds to like 70. And then you can air it up to like the normal. Yeah, so it's just like something with the design of those bags that I guess
I was gonna say
is
to
causing
defend
an
air
issue.
right a little bit. I never ever had that problem once in my
Yeah,
life.
so I don't. Maybe I have D2 struts in mine.
I
don't
To
know.
be honest, it's like I don't have anything for or against bags because when I was
But
people
this
that are
is
not
shit that you have to deal with.
People that are not from Wisconsin are murdering us for saying bags.
Bags.
Right now.
Oh, yeah.
Bags. So
Sorry.
with the 430 when I ran the bags at Banging Gears in February,
Banging gears.
Banging
They were
gears
awesome.
and bags.
dude, they were awesome. They did fantastic. They were set up, static ride height, absolutely crushed it, no issues. So I don't think it's an air suspension issue.
Why
I just
don't
think.
you just go coilovers on
Yeah,
that?
for real. You
So,
keep using it for more and more.
Would you like to
motorsport
know the
stuff.
real?
Yeah, I need
truth?
to know
Yes.
the real truth.
Okay, so I've gone through what seems to be approximately 4 to 5 wheel sets.
Oh,
in
I
the
know.
430.
They're all fucking sitting out
I
there.
have a problem.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have an issue, Dakota and Gels. I have to slow that
How
down.
does this have to do with anything with your suspension?
Because if I put it on coils,
Yeah.
I know I'm going to want to switch my wheel and tire setup so that it more
Well, you've done
accommodatively.
it 5 fucking times. What's one more gonna hurt?
Yeah, we're gonna sell all those.
Now
in there.
you're concerned
sell
about it?
All the wheels in there. We'll get you one good set.
Brother.
one good-
Tees.
There are BBS.
Actually, T's would be kind of cool in that for
There are BBS wheels out there. Are black diamond with. There's a multi-piece forged set of wheels.
Yeah.
There's like fucking
Stockers are in there too.
15 grand of wheels sitting out there.
not in Alex's garage,
No.
just somewhere
Somewhere.
in Arizona.
Yeah, undisclosed location. Anyway, somewhere out there, there's money sitting there.
I have talked to Chris Nelson from Wheel Pros because they have
I know
a
wheels are
Ferrari
expensive. Damn.
GTB forged monoblock that they put on their Le Mans series
So it
race
sounds
car.
like you even know which ones you want.
I do. I want those ones.
So what's
Coilovers.
the fucking problem?
I just feel guilty. It's gonna be my
About what?
sixth set of wheels.
Yeah,
Okay.
but you've had the car for years, and
Listen,
you're a
Alex,
wheel tire guy.
At this point, I'm not going to judge you any harder than I already am.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be taking a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to be talking about the good old US Air drift session that we just came back from so that we can stop this conversation.
No. Here, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna sell your 6 sets of wheels.
Yep.
You're gonna put your kid through college, and you're gonna get 1 set of wheels, and it'll be good. And coilovers. Done.
Yeah.
Ooh. He's saving me.
Oh,
Okay.
good guy.
Okay, good guy. We're back. Section 2 of the podcast. We've been doing a lot of cool shit, guys. I think we've been
These-
doing
Yeah, I'm
some
fucking
fun
exhausted.
Track days were back
yeah.
to back.
So Sunday, we spent the whole day, 12 plus hours, in like 110 degree heat
Yeah.
is what it felt like. There's no shade at these tracks. I swear to God. I don't understand why not. Throw
Where
a
are you
couple
gonna
wind
put it?
sails.
Yeah.
Throw some wind sails up, brother.
What is it, a fucking pirate ship?
Well, I'm just saying a little
A
shade would go a
couple
long
tents.
way.
Yeah, please.
just-
Something.
We brought our own. We brought our
Gazebos.
own tent for the second one.
We did. So
Yeah.
then we were like, you know, it sounds great. Let's get home at like 7 o'clock. Let's feed the entire volunteer staff. Let's just be absolutely exhausted. Make the whole house smell like dirty socks and shoes. Go to bed at 10 o'clock. Wake up at 6. Try to catch up on some emails and go right back out to the racetrack the very next day. So 2 days in a row, 2 different tracks, 2 different activities. Gels, talk about it. Where'd we go? What'd we do?
Yeah, so we went up to US Air. It was about a 40-minute drive from us, which is awesome because it is a very nice track.
Yeah, it's super
And
cool.
we got the whole place to ourselves, which was fucking nuts.
So huge shout out to US Air
Yeah.
because Mike Morgan and that new management team have been doing absolute wonders for the track.
They're
If you're
killing
in-
it,
Yeah,
dude.
they're doing a
If
great
you
job.
are in Wisconsin and you just want something to go do that's automotive related, you don't only have to look at Road America. Go look at US Air's calendar. They've got a lot of really cool
ton of
stuff
stuff.
going
The
on.
events are so fun to
autocross,
go to.
Autocross,
motorcycles.
go-karts, drifting, motorcycles. They've got so much stuff going on, and the track looks incredible. Mike and the team have made that
been
place
doing
look
work.
beautiful.
Yeah, not that it was like bad before they stepped in, but they just like cleaned it all up. And then a couple of things of like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Like moving the bleachers over so you can like watch better and stuff. Like it's just, it feels really good while you're there.
It did. I almost want to kind of add to that too, because when I say it looks so good, it's like when you run the track on the sim rig and it's like all nice and bright and it's like everything's colorful and pretty. When you went to the track before, it wasn't really like that. It was like, sure, it was green and some of the lawn was cut and some of the lawn wasn't cut, but there was like a ton of overgrown stuff. There was
Yeah.
like a ton of, like, if you weren't on the track, a lot of the other stuff was kind of disregarded. And Mike and the team have been cleaning all of that up. Like you walk in.
He was out there with like the weed whacker the
and
whole
it's
day.
and like it's got a really nice presence. Like the walkways are super clean. There's
It looks
flowers,
good. It
like
looks
all that
good.
sort of stuff. And the best part about US Air, and I applaud Mike for doing this and the rest of the team, the food does not cost an arm and a leg.
Dude, it's
at
so
track
cheap.
Yeah.
To get
it never
snacks
did.
or
It
drinks
never
there?
did, and that was like my favorite thing. It's like
Yeah.
even before the new management, you go up there and it's like the concession stand is like you could buy like granola bars and like fucking Sour Patch Kids for like 50 cents. It was like
Okay.
back home buying like little league
you want
food,
you want
know?
a Coke, $2, $1. You know, it
It's
wasn't
like
a
$1.
dollar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do have one huge, massive, major, insane complaint though.
okay. Go ahead.
And I'm not sarcastic.
Oh,
about
I
this.
know.
It-
I know
yeah.
where this
Well, it's every single time I went to US Air and I would watch my friends and my buddies and people I don't even know drift because I can't drift. I would get a V8 juice because where the fuck else can you get a V8 juice? Like when do you go to an
On the
event
go?
and they have a
Yeah.
V8 juice for sale? And I love V8. And they were cheap. So Maya and I made a tradition of grabbing a V8 and watching drifting. Well, last time we were there with new management, there's no V8 juice. And I know for a fact it's not because like sales were declining on V8 juice or anything like that, because I bought shit every single time. So what happened to the V8 juice?
Yeah, Mike.
Mike.
Mike, we're
Where's the V8 at?
we're juicing you up, but where's the V8 juice at?
Yeah, I'll talk. There's some good stuff. I'm not gonna lie, but I'm gonna
Mike-
keep it real too.
Yeah, Mike's a big bubbler guy.
Yeah, I mean,
Everything
bubblers
got
are good. I don't hate
bubblers.
bubblers. I don't mind them. They're cheap. They got some caffeine. They taste good. They're low calories. I just want a V8 juice because now I have nowhere else to
You
get a
said you
V8.
made it a part of.
Yeah,
it was a
like
tradition.
I have photos of like cheers in like in front of a nice clean 240
Can we
with
post
V8
one
juice.
of those up?
Yes,
Yeah.
Can we
please.
post one of those
We'll
up on the
have to.
Instagram?
No,
I
it's
have to throw it up.
US Air, absolutely awesome. Have been having an absolute blast there. We got to do a video.
Yeah, what do we all do?
We did a how to modify Nissan Z, which was pretty cool. we also
Took
did
the Z on the
Okay,
track.
yeah, but yeah,
took
this
the
was different than
Z.
our other how to
yeah,
modify.
yeah. This one's kind of special because I think what we did at US Air is what we want to do
All the
almost
time.
all
Yeah.
the time.
Like,
And we have a
well,
relationship with Wisconsin International Raceway, which is super awesome for MartiniWorks. We have a relationship with US Air, which is absolutely awesome with Mike. And as long as we're respectful and we're not throwing things all over the place, we're totally good there, which is fantastic. These are both tracks in under an hour away from us. And we want to do more content out there. So when we filmed How to Modify Nissan Z, we used the track, we used the location. It's really special. I think it's a really cool episode. And then we also talked a little bit about how the car's been after 1,000 miles, because we finally got it out of break-in period. The car rolled
yeah, this part
into
was cool.
US Air. I have it on video.
so
the car rolled into US Air at 1,001 miles.
That's so funny.
Yeah, and we did the oil change before the 1,000 miles. Don't worry. But
Say, how
that was
did-
pretty cool.
How did you had to like plan that, right? Like that.
I did.
How did you manage to? How?
Because on Sunday, I knew that I was like 25 miles short. And I
Okay.
knew there was no way I was going to get 25 miles in before Monday.
Yeah, that's insane.
And so Becca was like, I need to go
drive it or something.
I need to go make a run to go get stuff from the house and back. And I said, hold on. So I went and I pulled out my Google Maps, checked the distance from the track to the house and then back to the track. And I asked her if she was going anywhere else. She said no. And I said, take the Z.
That's some psychopath behavior.
And then when I came back, it was ready to go for US Air. Listen,
Man, fucking dude, I can't even remember to pack a lunch some days to be able to be like, hey, I always thinking about what the mileage is on the car. I need it to hit 1,000 miles when we go to
like it
USA.
would have made a difference if
And-
it was
and
at
just-
990 or
and
1,000.
just wait. I have the clip. They're never going to use it for any videos, and the entire buildup of that whole
I'm gonna
thing is
make a point to
completely
now,
missed.
yeah.
So we went out there. We did that, which was really cool. I tried to drift the Nissan Z. That went terribly wrong.
That
But
was painful.
we
Can we
need
talk a little bit of truth about that? Because
Yeah.
it's a podcast. Like, I feel like this is where we can come clean about some of this.
So I looking back, I did end up airing up the rears. It was after,
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I did
you
end
did.
up airing up the rears. So that wasn't the
Oh.
issue. I could not get this car to like do the thing I needed.
So the
it to
car
do.
just suck?
No, I sucked.
Oh,
Yeah.
It was definitely Alex.
Joe's
I-
like, I could have driven.
I was watching the whole time like, this dude don't start driving this car fucking faster.
That was the problem. That was literally
He
the
like
problem.
he was
Well,
like
I get
he was
being
kinda
scared,
like, He was
dude.
like, okay, I got the power now. Yeah, no, I totally get it. He's like, I got the power now. So he like kind of like he like
Inch
roll
forward.
roll up to the corner and then just whap and just
Yeah.
like fucking spin it because he
It
like
was
trying to-
literally- it was literally
like doing
power
a
sliding.
donut
Yeah.
in like every corner. He's like, why does it keep spinning like this?
I need to redeem myself, but I'll tell you what. Going from
It's also completely
you,
stopped.
You also have to remember too that like
Yeah.
my whole goal in like my future in the automotive scene is like I want to become disciplined in all forms of motorsport. I want to try doing it all.
Sure.
And going into drifting and drifting a naturally aspirated 4-cylinder GR86
Yeah.
to then
Doubling the horsepower.
a single turbo V6 VIP sedan car that shouldn't slide, the Gloria, to then going to a small wheelbase twin turbo 6-speed random ass differential I've never used
You
before.
got quite the diverse log. Of,
Yes. So like I go in, we spend the whole day drifting the GR86, feeling like a fucking king out there. Jump into the Nissan Z, crawl into turn 2 at like 16 miles an hour. I feel like I'm going 50.
I mean,
You were looking good in the GRE6. I won't lie. That was
GR86
impressive to see.
Like, you had to have been like pretty nervous with the Z.
I was.
Okay.
I didn't know what the fuck I was doing.
That's fair. That's totally fair.
See, the thing is too is because I lined up the whole thing with hitting 1,000 miles, I had been keeping it under,
Yeah.
7,000, the red line, because I just wanted to gradually get into it.
I would hope
so I
we
never
normally keep
really
it under red line.
experienced the whole torque.
Oh,
curve.
boost. Oh, yeah.
And so I
neither,
experienced
honestly.
it the
Is it?
first. I
Why-
experienced the first of it on Sunday at the drag strip.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is a lot. the torque, the power curve on the Z is very like gutsy. Like it's very, very fast. Like a tune needs to kind of almost mellow it out.
Isn't
a
it
little
weird
bit.
though? Because like,
So
isn't
like
the
the
point?
boost comes in like really late is what you're
No,
saying?
when the boost comes in, it's so much faster
that
than
seems
what you think.
so wrong though. Isn't the point of a twin turbo sub to be more linear power?
So
so
if you have it like a sequential, I don't know what.
I agree with you. Yes, it's supposed to.
Yeah, I'm not
smooth
saying
it
what you
out.
felt was wrong. I'm just saying,
But-
isn't that what the point of that setup is?
Depends on how it's
and it could also be obviously the gearing and stuff too that could be playing into it. I think what's happening is under boost, the car feels very sluggish, and when those turbos kick on, they kick on very fast. So the transition from kind of like that low end torque to the boost building to the full boost plus torque, it feels like this. Like it does this
weird power band.
Yeah,
to play
so
with.
I'm not used to it yet. So then obviously when you're not used to it, plus you go out and you try doing something for the first time, you look like an idiot, which I did. But we also got Corey Talaska,
which is awesome.
FD Pro Spec driver, to come out and teach us how to drift with the Torque Motorsport GR86. which you
He
guys-
shredded
Yeah.
them tires.
Dude,
Why?
Yeah,
if
I
you
don't
guys-
know what the hell happened.
If you guys want to go check that out, that's going to be over on the Torque Motorsport channel. Torque Motorsport's got the garage release. If you guys are following Torque Drift 1 on your phones, Torque Drift 2 is finally coming out. It's really exciting stuff. You can download it for free over at torquemotorsport.io.com. That's a plug, and that was pretty decent, I would say. But we did drift the GR86. Corey Talaska taught me some tips to get it going, and I felt like it went pretty well.
It looked good.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I mean, you were able to. The main goal I know talking to you was like just to be able to get it a little bit smoother and just start connecting those corners a little more, especially 2 to 3.
Yep.
2 to 3 is a real big one because you shred so much speed going into 2
Yes.
that it's hard to carry it through 3. So like just finding that line, finding the balance of the car
Yep.
to carry it through 3, and you did it.
Thank you.
And
Thank
yeah, it
you.
looked really good.
And it was like the cool thing about the GR86 is it's all stock power. The only
Yeah,
thing that
stock
it has,
power, stock angle.
Yeah, it's only got Nexen tires, Koenig
I-
wheels, fuel suspension. Those are the only
I
things.
know that the engine is like the fucking problem child of that car, but it does feel good.
It does.
Like, you know, driving that car,
li-
like compared to like the first gen, like my FRS that I had, like it feels like the torque is always there. It does pull you a little bit. Like it seemed like it got through the track totally, like perfectly fine.
Yep.
And it does the fucking thing really well.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it didn't seem like it was struggling at all.
And then it blows up.
And then it might
didn't blow up,
Might
though.
blow up, but no, it didn't. But
No, it was cool. I
one of
think-
these days, I mean, you know,
Dude, Corey had so many great tips. I think my favorite tip was slowing down your inputs
Yep.
on the steering angle can actually help you get through these long, straights better. And it sounds like such a simple tip, right? But until you hear it from somebody or until you think that way, you have no idea, right? All I know is that when I'm coming into turn 2 and the whole car is, angled this way and I got to turn this way, I just know that I got to throw the steering wheel to get the wheels to get the car around that corner. But he's like, hey, you've got distance from turn 2 to turn 3.
Yep.
Start modulating your power to your angle so that you can carry more through turn 3. And then you get all the way out to turn 4. And like hearing that out loud, it made everything so much
He
better.
was a cool dude.
And what it tells you to do mentally too is just to just essentially just relax.
Yeah.
Because like if you get in there and you got your adrenaline going, you're hyped, and it's like you start just grabbing,
Twitchy.
You start grabbing things, you start throwing things, you start like jerking, like it's just just relax, let it do what it needs to do. Take, like you said, you have all of this space
Yep.
that you need to cover. And you're trying to do it all in like the first 10 feet.
Yeah, and you don't have the
you don't
power
have
to
to
do
do
that.
that. Yeah.
I suppose in a high horsepower car, if you
It's a little bit different.
if you transition the wheels really fast and you're not there yet, you just press on the gas and you just force the car.
I don't know what horsepower feels like.
Neither do I. It was pretty fun though. Huge props to US Air. Appreciate you guys having us out. Corey Talaska, thanks for coming out. Dakota, you got to get
Yeah,
the
we got to do some
Supra.
cool stuff with the Supra, which was fun.
How did it feel?
Really good. We did a comparison between the Continental Extreme Sport Contact 2 and then the General tires that I've
right.
never had before. I've
General
never owned.
G-Max, right?
Yep, General G-Max RS. I've never owned a set of Generals before, so I was excited to try those out. So I had two 19-inch forged wheels Continentals on one, Generals on the other. And we ran around the track. We made a little autocross course out of it and timed it. And the goal was I'm going to do 3 laps on the Contis. I'm going to do 3 laps on the Generals. And let's see, because the Generals were about $100 cheaper almost
Per tire.
So about, I mean, it'd be a little less than $400 because I had a little bit smaller tires in the front. It was like, you know, is it worth it? I've never ran them, and the point of the MartiniWorks channel now is to give honest feedback on this stuff. So I tried them out, and it was really impressive to see that these cheaper tires, like, were still really good. Could I feel a difference? Yes, and that honestly surprised me too. How much, like, throwing these on, I was able, like, well, it is a little more wishy-washy in the rear end. Yeah. Like, by no means, though. Like, I'm beating the piss out of this car. I was throwing it into turns as hard as I could and then just romping on the gas and seeing, like, when my exit point, when I could get on the gas, I could do it so much sooner with the Continentals, and I'd feel confident. Where the Generals, I had to wait till the car kind of straightened out, and then I could get on the gas. Sure. Where the Contis, I'd be coming out of the turn, and I could, like, start right away. And the times prove that, too. You'd think, because I used the General second and I had a little bit of practice, you know, going around with the Contis, that maybe I would run a faster time. But I didn't. My average time was a little bit slower on the Generals, but they still felt really, really good.
And if you guys are listening to this now and you go over to the MartiniWorks channel, you may notice that it may not be out there yet.
Yep.
But that will be coming out, I think, is that going to be on the Unbox channel, or is that going to be on the main channel?
That's going to be on the Unbox channel.
So that's going to be on the Unbox channel. We have that coming out. I think by the time you're listening to it should almost be live. I'm talking like 24 hours. It should almost be live. So we're really excited for that channel. Hopefully.
Yeah, but make sure to check that out. We're going to have 3 channels, the MartiniWorks Unboxed, and then we have MartiniWorks, which is what we're calling the main channel, and then the podcast channel, obviously, which is
this one.
Checking that out. So those 3 will be the home MartiniWorks content, each one kind of serving a different purpose. And then just kind of keeping it organized so you guys know what to expect when we're going to be uploading. So, like, unboxing can be like product reviews, except this isn't different, just, you know, like reading the brochure. This is like our honest opinions and talking about products we like, or maybe something we dislike, or getting just our honest opinions, you know, like trying something out for the first time. So I was so stoked to do that video, and that was really fun because I've started to have an appreciation for tires quite a bit more. And never having a set of Generals, it's cool now because, like, I would get those tires. If I just had a daily driver, like, fun car, I would 100% throw those Generals on there.
As weird as it sounds too, it's like, it's a good looking tire. Like the General
no, it is.
Usually when you
cool
start going
pattern.
into like a little bit more of an affordable tire, the sidewall gets a little bit bland.
And
tread looks a little bit boring.
Like a tire.
You know, it just starts to look like a normal consumer tire. And the General G-Max actually looks pretty darn good. It was good to see also, though, like, you getting on it with the Contis, because you've had them on your car for a while, but not in like a position where you've kind of been.
No, the most I did was
harder,
like,
you know,
the hardest I drove, which honestly it wasn't like super hard or anything, but was like in the mountains of Tennessee when we got to kind of do the canyon runs, and even then, obviously, you're not like pushing it. Where here, I mean, we're the only ones out of track, so I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna full send this shit, and I was really romping on her, and it was a fun, dude. That car, the Mark V Supra, still continues to impress me. I've had this car for going on 3 years.
That's crazy.
And
it's a beautiful car, dude.
Thank you.
Like, every time, every corner, we were just sitting with Gels or Mario, and turn 2 on on US Air has a slight incline. Like, just it's maybe like 10-15 degrees, very, very slight. But when you come out, it just gives this like gorgeous picturesque look of a car when it's coming through that corner. And every single time your car came through, the headlights would like glimmer. They'd like come through and they glimmer for a little bit, and the whole thing just like sunk down into the corner. It looks so cool.
Yeah, I love that car. And you think after like almost 3 years of having it and driving it and doing now a few things like this, like, you'd kind of expect. Like, I went into US Air expecting what the car would do. No, dude, like, it's a brand new driving experience. Like, holy fuck, the potential of this thing. It continues to impress me when I drag race it. When we did the autocross stuff, when I take it into the mountains, you know, like, no matter what I do with the car, it always takes it to the next level, and it just makes me excited to own it again. I've absolutely loved the platform.
My favorite thing, just kind of going around that too, because I think sometimes I give a lot of my cars a hard time, but Lars got to drive the 430 at WIR for the first time. This was his first time driving that car like hard.
Yeah, right.
And watching him, because it's hard to explain why the car feels so insane. And, you know, open the door, he's got his helmet on, takes it, and he's just smiling ear to ear. Because
He was stoked.
And I'm like, well, how was he? He goes, dude, it's like it gets to a certain speed, and the whole thing just kind of, and it just sticks there. And it's
that
like,
car, it needs to be driven at
Yeah.
a certain speed to like feel normal. It's super weird because like even like when I picked it up from Green Bay for you,
Yeah.
it's like when you're like in town and it's like, dude, the transmission, I think it's like, yeah, it like fucking bucks you and it's like, Jesus Christ, you know, it's like, but then you get it on the highway and you get settled at like 65, 70, 75, and then it does, it kind of just like, it's like, all right. And like everything starts to like smooth out and it's like, yeah. And then it just like locks
just
in.
sits and locks
and it's
in.
so crazy.
yeah, it was really cool to see that. It's like that experience, you know, when you start to really get into driving these cars for what you can do with them, no matter what they are. Like even you talk about the RX-8, like getting the RX-8 onto the drag strip and just running it, all the things you learned and all the things you got to experience. It doesn't need to be a fast car. No. It needs to be whatever car you have and having fun with it, because that makes the whole experience like 10 times better.
Yeah, it's insane. I love the platform, and I would recommend a Mark V to anybody. And like, I'm not just saying that because I own one. If I truly like didn't like the car, there's things I really disliked, I just get rid of it and pick up a different platform, because there's so many out there I still want to own and do. But dude, I have truly just absolutely love this car. They did such a fucking good job with it. That car gets so much hate for no reason.
I don't understand the hate, because I don't even have one. I barely ever driven one, and I still tell people when they're like, "Hey, I have 60 grand, 50 grand. What should I buy?" I always tell them Supra.
Yeah.
Get the 3-liter Supra if you can find it. Absolutely, like, but it's not manual. It's like, it don't fucking matter.
Well, it is
You're
now.
like,
It is now.
yeah, for 90 grand or whatever.
They're
I
not
think it's
bad.
come
You
down a
can
little
you
bit.
can get them in the 60s.
Can you? That's awesome.
Manual.
I saw one on Sunday, actually, a red
Oh,
one.
really?
Red one manual, yeah. So with that being said, we're going to take another break real quick. Come back to the next segment.
Yes, sir.
If you go back to the earlier days of our podcast, we had a host. His name,
Episode 2.
I think it was 2. Yeah, it was 2.
literally
We were
episode 2.
upstairs. We had the little tray table of beers. Where'd that
We
go?
need to bring that back.
Yeah,
Now we got this.
budget got cut.
Yeah,
That's scars. Leave it alone.
Sorry.
And in that episode, we had Brian from Top Rank Importers.
miss Brian.
Brian's doing good. The homie's all over the
yeah.
place. And we were talking about Whistling Diesel. And Brian had some choice things to say about Whistling Diesel.
Yeah.
Didn't really like what he was up to. And he had made mention, he's like, dude, I'm telling you, you can only go so big, so big, so big. You know, what happens when you top out? What is he going to do? Start a car on fire? Is he going to blow something up? Is he going to do something in a town? And then last week, video comes up of Whistling Diesel and his Ferrari, what is it, 488 Pista or something like that? Started on fire in Waco, Texas, after he off-roaded it into not a random field, but into a field where his media van also apparently
the
started
rented
on
van,
fire.
yeah.
And the 20-plus minute
I didn't
video
watch any of this, to be honest with you.
is pretty intense. I think I've watched like the first 6 or 7 minutes, then I had to hop off.
Why are you hurting his watch duration?
Dude, okay, so here's the thing. I'm naturally very like a pessimistic person. There's a lot of layers between my pessimism and what comes out of my mouth. So when I watched Whistling Diesel's video, and there's like a point 2.5 minutes in where the Ferrari is on fire, and that makes sense. I'm assuming like temps, and there's a bunch of corn in the wheel wells, hit the exhaust manifold, probably started on fire. But there's a very brief period of time where like the camera pans behind the 488 over to the van, and somehow the fire jumped like 3.5 feet from the Ferrari to the van.
Is this a conspiracy?
And my initial thoughts were, oh, well, Ferrari started on fire. He's probably like, well, let's just start the van on fire at the same time. Grab a little, thing from the corn and just like put it underneath the van. And then I stopped watching because I'm like, no, Alex. I read the top comment where Whistling Diesel was saying it's not staged. It's all real.
Yeah.
But what are your guys'
So wait, was it
thoughts?
all? Because I haven't seen this, so you guys can explain this to me. Was it's supposed to be like they were just whipping it around and it started up?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like driving through a field and there was like
On the road. then
Ferraris
driving.
are notorious for.
Yeah, 'cause
yeah,
they
so
run
it was
hot.
like going through shit and like shit was like flying up and like they were having
Hey,
a grand old
What do you call it?
time.
What do
I'd
you
be going
corn-
through some shit too.
Yeah, we all be
Corn,
going
what's
through
the
some
corn
Stocks.
Stalks.
Yeah.
There you go.
So the
So
corn
it was like-
stalks got all stuck in the wheels, and you could see it immediately upon going off, and they're all dried up corn stalks.
Yeah.
I mean, they look like you breathe on it, and it would probably start on fire. And that's what initially started the fire inside the passenger side
So
window.
yeah, so a lot of people were saying like, people are like, oh, I don't think this was like intentional, like all this kind of stuff, and it's like, okay, but there had to be some point, thinking as like, right, Ferrari's known for starting on fire. Okay, I have this video, I make content. This is what my content is. That was most likely going to be the outcome.
I mean, it's got
like they were going to be happy if that was the outcome.
6.7 million views.
Okay, all that, right? All of that. We have to talk about the other fucking elephant in the room.
I heard of this.
What?
On the Instagram post.
Here we go.
For that video, him standing in front of the Ferrari, like, hey, we fucked up. Someone came out of the woodwork.
If his name is Stancy Pants,
It 100% was Stancy Pants.
oh my
Pants is
God.
This motherfucker we haven't heard from in almost a year.
This is the
It
same,
was like November, I
this is the
think.
guy that started the GoFundMe, right?
Yeah.
Wait, he did? He started GoFundMe?
For the car, yeah.
Yeah. This was the thing.
I didn't see that part.
So like almost a year, because we're coming up on November. Haven't heard a fucking thing.
Yep.
And then out of nowhere, this dude just comments from like the Stancy Pants profile and account, yo, me too.
On
Like
the
on
Ferrari
the photo
fire.
of the Ferrari on fire. And the internet did not really enjoy
Stancy Pants hasn't uploaded since, so I did just bump it.
Yeah, it
And
was
I
like
said,
November.
any update on this, bro?
You and everyone else that comments
Yeah,
that
for
every
real.
few weeks. That is such a
Please,
weird
something.
move to go completely silent on that whole situation. Like, make a big stink about it.
Yeah.
Make it seem like someone else lit your car on fire. Then just go dead silent on it. And then the way you come back is
weird.
commenting on a Whistle and Diesel post.
Yeah,
that's not a good look, bro.
No, I don't. I think in the most honest way of saying it, I think Luke and this whole Stancy Pants thing, no matter where he comes out on this, obviously don't, death threats and stuff like that, but like, dude, like you deserve the hate. I think at this point you deserve the criticism. You deserve a little bit of that. You've gone an
I would say
entire
criticism
year.
versus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Criticism.
Yeah.
You deserve the criticism because it's been a year. You haven't said anything. You still made the claim. You haven't backtracked on any of the claim at all. And there was a GoFundMe. There were people that donated money. No idea what happened to that. There's been no follow-up. So like, even though it's kind of a joke, it's like, is he going to drop a car at Gatlinburg at the end of this month and be like, hey,
knows,
I'm back with another
That
white
would be
RX?
Me too.
That would be kind of crazy, honestly.
I wonder if we'll have to film a video. If he does, we'll
Yeah.
go.
Luke, we're
Hunt
back.
him down.
Yeah.
Do you think he'll go to Gallenberg, regardless if he's dropping a car or not? Do you think he would go?
I mean, his car wouldn't get accepted last time, so I mean.
No, his car got accepted. It was in the show.
Yeah, it was.
It didn't. It got catfished.
Well,
got
it was in
catfished house.
there.
It sat outside the show.
Is that
They
why you lit
wouldn't
it on
let
fire?
it in.
When I interviewed him last year,
Mm-hmm.
his car was inside the show.
I thought there was like a whole stink about it not
No,
being in the show.
They were pissed because his car got in.
Oh, and other cars
cars
got
didn't.
there it is. Okay.
And then people were
okay.
making fun of the
That was my
welds on
bad.
the suspension and all
Yeah.
that sort of stuff. Either way, when I talked to Luke last year, very nice guy. When I talked to Luke
Yeah.
before
Any
the fire,
interaction I've had with him is fine.
has been awesome. I think publicly though, this situation
Yeah,
has
it's-
been handled very poorly.
yes.
Yeah,
It's nothing like personal, but bro, fucking just
Say
Just
something.
close. Just end the shit. Like,
Yeah,
Either-
like even if you were 100% wrong and it like was your fault, like make a
Fucking own
short
up to
video
it,
or make
yeah.
a post, be like, yo guys,
Yeah,
I
sorry.
messed up. Yeah, I'm sorry.
yeah.
But it
but
could have been
commenting,
that. But
yo, me too, like LOL, like haha, you know.
whistling diesel. Yeah,
that,
yeah.
that
Whistle
was
and Diesel just goes, nah.
after almost a year.
I don't know. It does almost
see
seem
what you,
like a
I see what you
publicity
were
stunt.
trying to do. Didn't work. Didn't land.
No, didn't.
Whistle and Diesel didn't fuck with it either. He was like, nah, dude.
Well, that's the thing though. Like, did he really think commenting that would get a super positive response? I don't think he thought that.
so, yeah.
I don't think he cares personally. I don't think like he feels like he necessarily owes anyone anything.
No.
But he
And
did
I-
make the story public information. He did post. He was posting avidly. The car was very much trending on the internet. And then to just go silent about it was kind of just.
And see, that's the thing is
it's just
it's
weird.
because
The whole
of
thing is weird.
It's because if he didn't like energize this audience
Mm-hmm.
of the almost like stereotypical gripe of like, hey guys, I know you may not like how I build my car, but attacking me and damaging me and, potentially scaring my family is not, nobody's going to disagree with you.
Right.
Nobody's going to be like, no, that was worth it. He should have had that car.
No,
right.
That's very clearly too far, which is why so many people
aligned
rally
with
behind
it.
us like, yo, holy shit, that's fucked up.
Absolutely. And then finally, there's people like, that doesn't really, make a whole
Yeah,
ton of
after like a
sense.
day, it was like, hold up.
And that's the problem, right? It's like when you get that many people riled up behind something, you also have like a level of accountability to like lead that.
You essentially
voice.
do owe the conclusion of it.
Yeah.
Whether or not it was what you thought it was or not.
It's like those Twitch streamers that have done those like random meetups. I don't know if you've seen that in the news where it's like they did a giveaway or some like surprise thing in the park in New York. What is it called?
Central Park.
Central Park. Got him. Central Park, I think it was. And like they
The
shut
park
down.
that's in the middle of
What's that city in New York?
It's
oh
like
yeah,
in
New
the-
York City.
the
Yeah,
middle of
that
it.
one.
Like it's like in the center of the city, big park.
Guys,
Anyway, sorry.
guys, I'm trying here, okay? And they like shut down the entire like north side of the park and like caused a whole bunch of vandalism and theft and all
Jesus
that sort of
Christ.
stuff. And then like he got arrested. The Twitch streamer got like arrested because it was like inciting a riot, essentially, is what he ended up doing. And it's like, when you get all these groups of people to go out and do something, and then you're like, oh, nope, just kidding. And then you disappear. I think that's kind of fucked.
Yeah.
So
So I thought that was wild. Like, expected it, typical Whistling Diesel fashion. Cool. Do what you're doing, whatever. But then when I saw that, at first when I saw it, it was weird because I saw it like actually going around and like other Instagram profiles. I'm like, dude, this is like Photoshop. There's no fucking way. And I went to like the post and I saw it. I was like, oh my God.
I like,
Oh my God.
I like Whistling Diesel's content. I don't think it's that bad.
I don't go either way on it. I just don't watch it.
I don't watch it. I think it's kind of crazy. And, it's like,
That's
holy
why
fuck. But
like I
Yeah,
like
shock value.
I like
it's like,
some of it.
I'm not going to let it ruin my day. Like,
No, that's what I'm saying. I enjoy
dude
it
doing his
because
thing,
The tank series that he does. The
tank series was wild.
My favorite, and like the deer skit that he did, where
Yeah.
he's just like down up, guns pointing, and and they just blow up the entire tree.
yeah.
I think it's what every 12-year-old wishes they could do on a plot of
Fuck
land.
yeah. It's like real life GTA.
Literally.
essentially at that point.
I'm glad everybody's okay. Do I think it's staged or not staged? They probably were aware that it could happen.
That's what I mean. I'm like, and that's what I say. In the back of their mind, it had to be like, dude, if this thing started on fire, it'd be perfect. It'd make for great
It's
content.
Ferrari.
What's the
Fire.
big deal though if it was staged?
Well, that's what most
he's
people,
making a video.
Yeah,
that's what most people
exactly.
are starting to get to with, I think, his content though, is that it is getting more staged, and
And
more
here,
staged.
let me clean that up for a second because I realize how I said that could sound bad. Like when we make a video, necessarily, it's not like, oh, we're making a video, let's stage it. I don't know necessarily anything we've released staged ever, but like for his type of content where he is grabbing something and destroying it. I mean, there's a plot there, right? Like there's a plan.
There's the predetermined outcome.
That's what I meant by like, who
he's not
cares if it's staged? Isn't that what his content is?
He's not showing up to a track and deciding to run the guardrail to pass a Ferrari.
It's not a
He's
fucking vlog.
He's telling the track before he goes that he's going to run a
Yeah.
G63 across a guardrail for a video. Or at least I would assume so. But I don't know. Like, I think that's what YouTube has kind of come to in a sense with entertainment style content. Like
Part of it.
Well, true. I think a large part of it is that way though, where it's you go to like the trending or you go to like what's climbing in views, and it's like every thumbnail is an identical copy of like a Mr. Beast video, and it's like I like Ryan Trahan's stuff. I think his stuff is super cool. Like outside of automotive YouTube content, there are a couple of YouTubers I watch, but like it's always getting more and more and more extreme. Biggest pizza, biggest this.
No. I think what you're seeing is that the stuff that is getting a lot of views is doing that. YouTube is a big bitch. There's a lot of different content, a lot of different creators on there. I would hate to say that it's the majority. Like I hate putting the blank spam. Like YouTube is just becoming Mr. Beast. And it's like, well, no, I mean, yeah, that's what it's showing. But like, there's so much other shit on there.
But I think in the same, it kind of is. There's like this beastification or whatever they call it, where it's like a lot of
for some,
like for generic entertainment style content. A lot of it is all monetary shock value style content nowadays. Now, there are some automotive YouTubers that are not doing that. I've just talked about with Dakota earlier, like there's a YouTube channel called Overdrive. Absolutely love watching it. I think the content's absolutely hilarious. They're located in the UK. They do competitions where it's like every time he loses, his car gets faster and he's racing a professional race car driver. I think that's cool.
That's
I think
kind of like Mr. B style, though.
super fast Matt is
not
doing
bad.
it as
Yeah, I
well.
don't care.
Super fast Matt like did an off-road Viper build. I think that's super cool. I don't know. I just think that sometimes to grow in YouTube, it seems like you have to almost grow in a super large fan base, and that requires doing more shock value style content.
I hate that.
Well, I'm not saying I like it. I'm just saying,
But I don't like that mentality either. That like you have to do this if you want to be successful on YouTube. I don't think that's the case.
I mean, maybe not. I guess I don't know how much shock value I put in like my personal content, but like it's grown by some of it being shock value content of rebuilding a cheap Ferrari in my garage, right? That's a hook that's got some shock value to it.
Different. I wouldn't call it shock though. Like,
Yeah.
It's not like, fucking, I don't know. I don't even.
Yeah, I think when you've been in the YouTube game for a longer period of time, I think sometimes you see these trends that come and go. I think with competition from TikTok, though, I think it has sped up maybe some things on YouTube that are
the environment
that are less than what it may
Yeah,
be.
the content environment is 100% completely different.
It used to be education based
100%.
so much, and I think a lot of it's becoming entertainment based.
Yeah,
now.
and it has to be so fast.
Yeah.
You're talking about 30 to 60 second videos are what people are expecting nowadays to like get an entire point across, and it's fucking crazy. The attention span is like non-existent anymore. So yeah, I'm guilty of it as well. And it's like, but
I don't know, dude. Like
when you bring it over to long form content, it gets
a lot of
super
people
tricky.
say that about the short form content, but for the first time in my life, I just watched a 24-hour YouTube video.
Yeah, you were telling me about that.
So like, I don't think it necessarily is like, oh, short form, like it's just coming to, it's not algorithm based. It's not this style, but it's just a fucking good video. If you make a good video, people will watch it. It doesn't matter what the content is. It doesn't need to be anything specific. It doesn't need an exact structure. It just has to be a good ass video, and she'll take off.
I thought you were gonna say something about Bing chillin'.
Bing chilling.
Okay, so when you
That means
mentioned
ice cream in Chinese. I watched
Alex's
John
face
Cena say it.
automatically went, oh my fucking God,
Yeah.
this guy. And I was like, I was trying to hear him out.
I thought
And
I
I'm
was-
glad I did.
I was already
because
done.
I thought it was a good point.
I think the goal of trying to make good content and not target views is always the goal or premise. I just think
no one fucking knows right now. It is the wild fucking west of the content world out there, and everyone's just trying to figure it out.
yeah,
It's fucking crazy.
but I just explained it to you when I was talking about the Whistling Decent video, where I was like, I only watched the first 6 or 7 minutes because I couldn't sit down for 22 minutes and watch it. I don't remember the last time I've sat down and watched
It sounds like a you problem.
Yeah, that's a
massive-
you problem. I was
Because
going to
you
say
just
the
don't
same
stop
thing.
moving.
Yeah.
So like that's
You're like, I got to
expected.
post an Instagram reel now.
Yeah.
But like that's a lot of people I think are getting to that. The only time I do watch full YouTube videos is like movie breakdowns, like concept breakdowns from movies and stuff.
See,
I really
that's
enjoy
the type
that.
of content you like.
Yeah, and that's
so
not
you just maybe
shock
don't
value.
like his, but there is a million people that are watching Whistling Diesel's video for the whole 22 minutes where you're watching the movie. I wouldn't watch a movie review for 22 minutes. That's not the type of content I like. So it's just particular. That's what I'm saying. Like there's no specific
Right.
formula that you can do that's like, oh, that's a guaranteed million view YouTube video.
See,
It just doesn't work.
that's where I disagree because there is a recipe. You have seen people copy Mr. Beast, Ryan Trahan videos to a T, literally to a fucking T in terms of edit, timeline,
Yeah.
script, and style. They just change, being in France to being in Italy, or changing making the biggest pizza to making the biggest spaghetti bowl, and they just copy it. They do the same exact thing because they just know.
But
that
the thing
and they
is-
come out and they get more views.
No,
than the original video.
No, they're not
100%.
they're not getting more views than the original. It always lives in the shadow, 100%. You're not. The only way it's getting more views than the original is if it's a better video. It has to be a better video. So even if they're copied ideas, I guarantee you those are still produced super well. They're edited very well. The people in it are enjoyable. They have to be, because if any of those things were bad, those videos would not get views.
But what I'm saying is it's a duplicated video. It's the topic, the editing, all of it. The person that's recreating the content has done nothing. They've just taken something and they're like, I want the views, and they copy it one for one. They do the same exact thing. They don't reiterate. They don't try to innovate. And that was the thing that Ethan Klein, or whatever his name is, from the H3 podcast or whatever, talked about with XQC, that Twitch streamer who posts 9 million reaction videos on YouTube of him saying, wow, okay, wow, as his reactions to these videos that are on YouTube, and they get 400, 500,000 views, and he gets paid, obviously, appropriately for that. And it's like, well, how is that not like copyright infringement? You're not actually adding any value to your reaction to the content. And that was like the whole concept. And that's kind of what set me down the spiral of like, what is valuable content on YouTube if YouTube is now saying, well, if the audience likes when they make a pizza that's the size of a football stadium, they'll probably like if they make a spaghetti bowl that's the deepest part of the ocean, and they just do the same. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it might get impressions with a similar title. Like, yes, YouTube's going to show it. But again, if people click into that video and they're like, holy fuck, this guy is super cringe, or the video is paced in a way that isn't entertaining, they're just going to hop out of it. Like, it still needs to be a good video.
I agree with you, but there is a formula for it. If you follow the same excitement, if you follow the same clicks, if you follow the same title format, you follow the same thumbnail format, it's going to get you in that impression pool that is bigger than if you were to just say, hey, make good content in your own way.
Initially, it might, but if video after video after video isn't going, you're not going to be in that anymore.
100% agree.
So like, I mean, I'm not saying like I praise the people that are copying videos, but in a sense, they have to be changing it in a way that people are still watching the whole way through.
Oh, yeah.
Because otherwise the video wouldn't be successful.
Agreed. I just read a book about copying, for like creatively copying, and how like most artists, they are always taking inspiration from something all the time. And then they use that as like a baseline for making something else. Like the concept is that there's no original idea anymore. It's just innovations on other people's ideas. So I agree with you. I just think at the end of the day, it'd be cool to see YouTube kind of like, when we look back at it being a more long form enabled channel where you were able to express a story maybe in a little bit of a longer time frame because the story required more time. It would be nice to see that continue to be YouTube's focus versus it trying to do short form and long form and communities and tagging and hashtags and threads and this. And then Instagram's over there doing the same shit. Well, reels and posts and this and that and threads and Facebook and this and that. It's like all these social channels now have to be everything for everyone. And now none of them stand out as like unique places to enjoy or learn from.
It's everything in the wake of what TikTok has done. And they saw that, and everyone wants a piece of that fucking pie. And you're like, oh my God, look how successful it was. Look at what they did. And now they try to replicate it in their own way. And it's like, that's why I mean, it's like kind of like the Wild West. It's like, there's so much stuff. It changes every fucking week, it feels like. And there's something new coming out, or the algorithm changes, or like the way you have to post this, or the way you title this has to be changed. It's like, that's why I'm like, sure, maybe there is a recipe out there, but it's gonna fucking change.
I loved YouTube Shorts, to be honest. I did, because it did feed into like long form videos. YouTube's algorithm did kind of make that nice, where it's like, hey, if you talked about this car and it recognized that you had a long form video, if you went to your dashboard, you would see the long form video of that same content creator. But now they're removing links and they're removing some of that because they don't want you to connect the dots. They want to connect them themselves. And it's like, well, that's fucked. Like, the point of me making short form content is to tell a short story. And then if there's a longer version, I want you to come check out the longer version.
That too.
Yeah. So I don't know. That's a huge mess. And I totally agree. I don't think there is a right answer between any of them.
It's all fucked right now.
But make good content. If you are a content creator out there, I think what Dakota says is right. Make good content that people want to watch, and everything else will come.
Yeah, like to tap in a little bit too, like what Joe's is saying, like you can try and follow these algorithm recipes, and there's probably stuff that will help. Sure, there is things that the algorithm is picking up on 100%. I know that, but like at the end of the day, it's going to change next week. It's going to change again. It's going to change again. So the baseline of it all is you just have to make a good video, a video you are proud of, a video that makes sense, a video that has a good story, and it will just naturally, I think, do well. And maybe not overnight because you're not following the algorithm specifically, or you're not making the biggest pizza pie, but over time, YouTube will figure out like where to put it and stuff like that. I'm getting really sick of everybody leaning into the algorithm and like maybe why that's not why their video is taking off, or something
like
like
they
that.
would've put
Or
that
they're
much-
making a video just specifically for the algorithm. Like, stop, make
Yeah.
it for people.
If you put that much effort into like just making a dope piece of fucking content, like what would that be?
I think where maybe there's a happy medium is being aware that the algorithm does exist. Don't blame the algorithm for something either going well or not going well. But
use
at
it to
the
your
same,
advantage.
But at the same time, understand how the algorithm works, right? The more niche you get into something or niche you get into something, the smaller the audience size is, which means the better your thumbnail and title have to be. So really think hard about how you're going to do that if you want it to hit. And I do think that being blind to the algorithm sometimes creates, I almost want to, and I think we're coming up on time here, but it does sometimes create a lot of Nancy's in social media where it's like, oh, well, I just made content how I want to make it. It doesn't do well. Fuck this, you know, and then they get all angry and they blame everyone else for bad content. It's like, well, no, you know, you got to be aware of how the channels are working to make content that works.
Yeah, because it's like, you could have a really fire piece of content, but if you don't put the effort in of like, titling it or like coming up with a good thumbnail, like, you're going to shoot yourself in the foot.
Yeah, and we've made that mistake as well. I mean, we made content where we've done like car montages, right? And we tried it a couple times to see if it would work. Didn't really work. And then we see other people going out there and make montages and it works. And we're like, oh, well, why? And it's like we watch and we're like, oh, well, Brent Gass is putting generative AI, super dope ass layers into the video as screenshots and then masking, doing all this extra work for 2 seconds on a short. And that's what's making it blow up. It's like, well, do we want to do that? No, that's not really our cup of tea. Let's go somewhere else and do something that we're more passionate about. So I think it's being aware of that as well. I don't know.
Yeah, like I said, use it to your advantage. But like when you get to the point where you're letting like the algorithm and like what everyone else is doing dictate what content you create, it gets a little blurry.
Yeah, because now you're feeding a
just
system. You're not just doing it for yourself.
Yeah, there's a difference between like following like and letting it dictate your like what you create and your content versus using it to like make your content better. I guess I don't know if that makes sense or not, but
no, it's the same thing with the car scene though, right?
Yeah.
It's like if you start building an A90 Supra because it's a popular platform and you start doing the Street Hunter kits or you start doing this and that and the other thing and you start doing what everyone else is telling you to do on the
Excuse me?
Yeah. I'm just kidding. on the platform, right? And then you get in the car and you've got a wide body car that's maybe a pain in the ass to air up or it rattles now or now you rub and you don't like it. It's like, well, you fall out of love with the car.
Really
it's
quick.
the same exact
really
thing,
quick.
which that's why after the S2000, I don't think I'm ever wide bodying a car ever again. But we'll get into that into another podcast episode. I think we're at time.
Yeah, we kind of went down a rabbit hole.
Sorry about that. We talked
That
about
last segment was wild,
all over the place. We hope you guys enjoyed. If you haven't subscribed, please be sure to do so. Drop a comment below on what you'd like us to talk about next.
Rate the podcast.
Rate the podcast on Spotify. And if anything else, go pick up a gosh darn windshield banner on MartiniWorks.com. Just a decal would help us.
We got those.
A t-shirt would be sick. So
Oh, yeah.
with that being said, thank you guys so much for coming to my kitchen.
You're welcome.
We're in the kitchen.
Can I eat now?
No.
We're in the kitchen.
You want a shot at tequila?
Yeah,
We are in the kitchen.
kind of.
Yeah, we'll talk to you guys later. Milagro time.
I'm leaving the kitchen.